"We have $93, she said. The boy reached into his pocket, too. "And 58 cents. That's enough, right?"
"Absolutely," Joe said.
He turned around and started the engine, and the meter. Joe didn't like trouble, but he did like money. Every so often, Joe stole a peek at the kids in the rearview mirror. The girl was watching the rolling Northern California hills slide by. The boy was toying with a silver pendant he wore on a chain around his neck. It was shaped like a star. "Stop that," the girl said when she noticed what her brother was doing. "You might break it." "Break what? I still haven't even figured out what it is." "It's jewelry, that's all. A keepsake from Mom and Dad." "Since when have Mom and Dad been into keepsakes?" The girl shrugged. The boy started picking at the pendant again. "Anyway," he muttered, "I don't wear jewelry." The girl went back to staring out the window. After a moment, though, she pulled out an identical pendant hanging around her neck and began rubbing it absent-mindedly. About 20 yards behind her, Joe noticed, was a big black SUV that had been following them for miles. It was probably just a coincidence that it had stayed with them as they went from the airport to 101 South to 92 West. But then again, if trouble had to drive, wouldn't it drive a big black SUV? Joe gave his cab a little more gas. Joe made the winding drive down to Half Moon Bay at least once a week. Though it was just a speck of a city, it was perfectly situated, nestled on the coast at the edge of a long stretch of lush, hilly forest, and had built up a healthy tourist trade. The town itself was quiet and quaint and cute. And boring, but the tourists didn't seem to mind. 513 Chesterfield Avenue was in a nice neighborhood not far from the ocean. The house looked a little shabby, though. The paint was more faded, the driveway more cracked, the yard more choked with weeds than any of its neighbors. Even the mailbox was dented and scorched on one side. As Joe's cab slowed to a stop out front, a lawnmower was going around and around in the yard. No one was going around and around behind it, though. It looked like a ghost was mowing the lawn. Rope ran from the mower to a metal pole in the middle of the yard. The end of the rope was wrapped around the top of the pole in a coil. As the mower moved, the rope unraveled itself, slowly feeding more slack to the mower so it could go in bigger and bigger circles. It was a self-mowing lawn. "Cool," said the girl. Said the boy. He pointed to the pole. The more the mower tugged on it, the more it tilted to the side. "Oh," said the girl. The pole sagged, then fell over completely, and the mower rumbled off course into a neighboring yard. It chewed through row after row of beautifully manicured flowers before rolling over a garden gnome, getting snagged and, with a screech and a pop and a puff of black smoke, bursting into flames. "Well," the girl said, "cool idea." $65, Joe said. The girl counted out the money. "And we're supposed to tip you, right?" the boy said. "Don't worry about it," said Joe. His conscience was yelling at him not to abandon a couple of kids outside a run-down house with an exploding lawnmower. He needed to leave quick, or he might actually listen. He glanced at the kids in his rearview mirror as he sped away. They were kneeling beside the fallen pole examining the rope. They looked like they wanted to put the pole back up, find another mower, and try again. A little farther down the street, Joe could see the black SUV he'd noticed behind them on the highway. A shadowy figure sat behind the wheel. Whoever it was, he or she seemed to be watching the kids. Joe's gut had been right about those two. They were trouble. Weird trouble. As he drove away, fast, Joe made a promise to himself that he planned to keep the next time he was at the airport. From now on, middle-aged tourists only. Middle-aged tourists only.